Okay. So, everybody, this is a wonderful coach, Germaine Foley, and she is going to be talking to us just about how to get a little more financially savvy. Because I know that's always been a goal of mine. I feel like always have this really ambiguous, like, save money or spend less, but I don't really know. I don't know any good steps. Last year, I did this like no buy 25 where I try to just shut it down, like, and not buy anything, but I still don't know if it helped me save anything. So I think if you could help us with that, that would be amazing.
Absolutely, Stacy. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to give you all the things.
So tell me about your do both, because I think the way that I try to do it, like just don't spend a thing,
Yes.
was like one part, but then I really didn't know how to implement it, and it just felt a little restrictive. So how can we do both? Tell me about that.
Yes. So my signature do both framework is it stands for you can build wealth and enjoy life at the same time. Because I think that, especially as women, we've been taught through society, through the financial experts, through the gurus, that, you need to buckle down, not spend anything, stop buying so many lattes, no shoes, no vacations, and wait until you're retired to enjoy life. And that just never sat with me. And so I rebelled and I was just like, I'm living my life. I'll figure this money thing out later. But then there was something inside of me that was just like, no, why do you have to, be constantly stressed about money because you're in debt, because you don't have savings, because you're overspending, because you think that the only way you can get your money under control is if you sacrifice everything and live this boring, frugal life. And so it was just like, I decided that I was going to figure out how to build wealth and enjoy my life at the same time. And so that's exactly what I did. We paid off over $200,000 worth of debt, including student loans. We've built up a multiple six-figure net worth. And once I cracked the code, I was like, okay, professional women, women who make good money, we do not like strict budgets. So I got to teach them what I know now. And so that's what do both is. It's figuring out what truly matters to you, because honestly, the sales at Target, the stuff that we just buy impulsively on Instagram from Instagram ads and Amazon, those things really aren't what matter to us, right? But we spend our money on them. So I teach my clients how to figure out what's important. We go through exercises to figure out what their values are. We spend on those things without guilt, but then we decide to build wealth with the rest of that money that we now have, right? Because when you decide to do both, you free up cash so that you can build wealth and you can enjoy life.
I love that. And I will say, I did learn from my no buy experiment all year that I really didn't need anything. Like, it
Mm.
really wasn't that bad. And I learned to tap into my community a little bit. Like, if the kids needed a costume, like,
Mhm.
we don't, for some reason, don't ask, right? But it does take a village. And so I reached out to my village, and there were so many times that I would have bought something new, and I just asked, and everybody had it. Like, if you have people with kids in your
Yes.
in your circle, they're gonna have stuff for you too. So um if there was just like, so I think I got the spend less, but tell me, what do I do now? Like, how do I know what to do if I have extra?
Yeah. So, of course, we figure out what's important to you. So, you spend on those things and then you set financial goals. So, depending on what season of life you're in, what your financial situation is like, your goal may be to get out of credit card debt. Your goal may be to save 10K, 20K, 30K in an emergency fund. I like to call them life happens funds. It's
Mm-hmm.
just money that's there for you to cushion you between life and what may come your way. And then, or it could be an investment goal. It could be a goal to purchase a investment property. Whatever your financial goal is, that is where your money goes. And then once you hit that goal, you move on to the next. So this part is very individualized. The values, some of my clients, they love to look pretty, right? So they like quality clothes. So that is part of their do both. Some love to travel, some love personal development. So this is very individualized. And then we look at where are they right now financially. Some people need to start with saving, right? Because they spend everything they make. Others, they have a nice savings, but they have a lot of credit card debt. So we need to start there. And then sometimes I get people who have savings, they don't have credit card debt, but they haven't really start investing. So
Mhm.
that's where they start. So it's very individualized. You just need to think about, okay, if I could set one financial goal this year, what would it be? And usually that's the one you work towards.
Okay, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you do if someone does a little bit of what I call like an ostrich situation, right? Like money feels scary, finances feel scary, investing feels scary. So it's just easier just not to look at any of it. Like, do you ever have clients like that? And what do you recommend?
Absolutely. So a lot of people just avoid it. Like that's kind of what I did
Mhm.
because I was just like, I don't understand it. And I'm definitely not going on a strict budget. I'll figure it out later. And I just ignored it. But we all know when we avoid and ignore, the problems don't go away. So you're a physician. You know that if one of your patients is having a health issue, if they ignore it, what's going to happen? It's probably going to just get worse. Versus deciding that you're going to get some courage and look and see what's happening. 9 times out of 10, it's not even as bad as we think it is, right? And so, for anyone who's avoiding, I would say give yourself the opportunity to see where you are because once you see where you are, then you have the power to decide what's next. But when you're avoiding, oh my gosh, things just get worse. And as we age and as we, get closer and closer to retirement, that's not what we want for our best lives. So that's what I would offer.
I love that. And you're a coach, so I know sometimes we like to plant thoughts for people to borrow. So I know a lot of women feel like they're just not good at money. Like it's really hard. So I'm sure you have some alternate thoughts about that we might be able to borrow. So what are some of your favorite alternate thoughts to this idea like money's just too hard?
Yeah. So the famous one is I'm just bad with money.
Right.
Um, or I'm just a mess with money, or my money is a mess. And so, of course, we don't want to go from I'm bad with money to I'm amazing with money, right? Because if you don't believe it, I mean, it's not going to stick. So I'm figuring out how to get better with money, or I'm getting better with money, or I'm learning how to get better with money. I think just, those little ladder thoughts really can, especially if you are taking steps, like if you're listening to podcasts, reading books, hiring a coach, if you are doing those things, the truth is you are getting better with money. So I think we can believe that. And then you can get to the place where you can think, I'm good with money. Like that's how I view myself now. Like I'm really good with money. But in the past, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I love those thought ladders. So I like to do like a yet, right? Like
Yes.
I'm not good with my money yet, but I'm learning. Or I think Brooke used to always teach like I think I'm bad with money, right? Like just make it a thought, not an identity. Like I just think I'm bad with money, but I'm like pretty savvy, so I can probably
Yes.
figure it out.
Yes.
So I would say that a lot of people fall into this all or nothing. So, what's a realistic way just to like, we're trying to teach baseline habits right now for the kickstart. So, what's like if they could just do one thing to start the year off right, what would you recommend?
Okay, so this tip that I'm about to give you all has saved me tens of thousands of dollars. And I've named it different things over the years. So I'm going to give you both names that I give it. The first one I call it is like the sleep on it rule.
Mhm.
So that's when if you have an urge to buy something impulsively, sleep on it. Don't buy it right away. Like make that rule or protocol or pact with yourself that if I see something that I wasn't planning to buy, if it's online, if it's in the store, let's say you run into Target for shampoo, but you see this really cute necklace, you're not telling yourself no, but you have a rule that I have to sleep on it. And then if I want it tomorrow, I can come get it. So that's one word for it. Or you can say pause before you pay. So before you pay for something, pause
Mhm.
and then give yourself an opportunity to settle down because what's happening is, when you're in the moment, your primitive brain is taken over, right? The dopamine and all that. You need to give yourself time. You need to put time and space between having the urge and acting on the urge, right? And when you do that, you give your higher brain, your prefrontal cortex, an opportunity to get back in charge. Because remember, this was not something you were planning to buy. So it's very impulsive. And so that has saved me tens of thousands of dollars. And I use it to this day. If I'm in bed scrolling and I find something really cute, I can put it in my cart, but I can't buy it because I haven't slept on it yet. And usually I never go back for the thing, ever.
I had a client, and that's what she would do at night. Like I moved her from online shopping to online carting. That's what we called it. So
Yes.
you can still do all that. Put it all in your cart and like think about it, and then it's like, yeah, you don't never go back. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I teach the same thing with food, right? So as a doctor, people used to bring things into the doctor's lounge all the time, and so if I wanted it, what I would do is I would wrap it up and I would bring it home and I would plan so that I could plan for it, right? Because if we plan for it, we can do it. So,
Yes.
same thing, money and food, right? So, I would be like, if I really think I want it, I'm going to bring it home and then I can plan and I can eat it tomorrow, or I can at least wait until dinner, right? Like pause. And 9 times out of 10, I didn't eat it.
Yeah.
Like I'd forget it on my desk and not even bring it home or not eat it or not want it the next day. So, I love that. Pause before you pay. That's really catchy and easy to remember.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. So if for someone like me who finds it hard to kind of be organized, what is a way, I start getting overwhelmed. Like my husband loves Excel. I can't, I can't. So what's an easy way if I'm like, okay, I'm ready to look. I'm not going to have my head in the sand. I'm ready to pause before I pay. Like what can I do just to be a little more organized, like that accountability piece? What do I do?
Yeah, I would say the first step is just simple. Like sometimes just all you need is awareness. And once you see something, you just can't unsee it. So get a piece of paper and a pencil, open up your banking app. Once you're done with your banking app, go to your credit cards and just categorize your expenses from the last month. Like don't choose December. That's the worst month to look at, right? Let's look at like maybe October
Mhm.
and really just say, okay, how much did I spend on necessities? How much did I spend on eating out? How much did I spend on random things that I don't even know what I bought?
Mhm.
And once you start to see it, you can't unsee it. Subscriptions, clothing, coffees. I'm not against any of it, but sometimes we're spending way more than we truly want to on
Mhm.
those things. And then decide, like, okay, do I want to keep doing this? Just have a moment, an honest moment with yourself and say, hey, do I want to keep spending this much every month on DoorDash or, whatever they're called, Grubhub, I think it's called.
Right.
And then decide, like, if that's what you want. And if it is, okay, keep going. But if it's not, then that's an opportunity to make some changes. And it doesn't take any spreadsheets or anything, just a pen and paper. When I first did this exercise years ago, I had 2 toddlers, and it was myself and my husband. This was years ago, probably like 16 years ago. I noticed that we were spending $1,500 a month on food, just with 2 toddlers and my husband and I. And most of it was from eating out. And like my husband would go to 7-Eleven every morning and get a vitamin water and
Mhm.
spend like $2 a day on that. And it was just like, oh my gosh. And when I added it all up, I'm like, I do not want to spend this much money. And
Mhm.
we got it down to like $900. We still was able to eat out once a week.
Right.
Instead of him buying the vitamin water at 7-Eleven every day, we went to Costco and we bought a case. And it was
Mhm.
so much cheaper that way. So just that awareness will help you to see what's going on. Again, going back to that avoiding, right? Not avoiding. It could just take a simple look, and then that in itself could do the work for you.
Are there some general categories? Because I know I was helping a client do this, and she kind of got bogged down a little bit in the categories.
Yeah.
So because she wanted to see what she was spending on herself, and so it
Mm-hmm.
got a little weird. So is it just generally like food, and then like kind of see like groceries versus all other, and like what other
Yes.
categories?
I have a template and it does have like the core category. So subscriptions, a lot of people spend a lot on subscriptions. Um, utilities, some insurance, because a lot of times we're overpaying for car insurance and home insurance. That's a big one. I always say shop that at least once a year. Even your cell phone and cable and internet, those things could be high, and that's an opportunity to go back and renegotiate terms with those carriers. Clothing, food for sure, and I would separate groceries from eating out. And if you're doing a lot of door dashing, I would even put that in its own category because you're paying a big premium
Mhm.
when you use those apps. I think those are the main ones. If you have kids and their activities, just categorize it out. And listen, just because you're looking at the categories, that doesn't mean you have to change them. We just want to look. You may be very satisfied with some of the things you're spending, with the amount you're spending on, and that's okay, but at least you'll know.
Yes, I love that. I love that. So if there was just one thing that everyone, like if you hear one thing from me, what would that be?
I would say you can do both. You can build wealth and enjoy life at the same time. And I say this because so many women don't believe it's true. And it is the reason why they're avoiding their money. It's the reason why women are retiring with way less money than men. It is the reason why so many of us are stressed about finances because we're like thinking that we have to give up our lives in order to build wealth. So we're choosing to just live and we're ignoring our finances. And honestly, it's to our detriment. And I love when women decide like, okay, I'm going to fix my finances and I'm going to prioritize it. One of the things I noticed, so when I first start working with clients, we look at their values and we come up with like their top five. Financial security is always, always on the list. But after we find the values, I ask the question like, which one of these are underfunded? It's usually the one that's underfunded. All the other ones are funded because they're going on the trips, they're doing this and that. But when it comes to their financial security, it's usually at the top of the list, and it's one of the things that's most underfunded. And so I want to help women change that so that we can be secure. Some last thing I'll say, Oprah has a podcast, and she did an episode called Gray Divorce. There are so many women in their, once the kids are gone, their 50s and 60s, they get divorced. And a lot of them are not financially prepared for that because they didn't take the time to make sure they were financially secure. They let their husbands take care of it, which is fine, but be in it too. So that if anything ever happens, I have a family member going through it right now, that you are okay, that you have enough money to take care of you, even if something like divorce happens, which we don't want that to happen in most cases. But if it does, at least you're ready.
I have a friend, she always says, in her mind, she's paying her old lady first. That's what she said. She was like, I got to make sure I buy the good diapers. Like, I got to pay for my old lady to have the good diapers when it's time. So that's sort of her mind hack for making sure she's always saving for her future and that it is a priority. It's like no one else is going to be looking out for you getting the good diapers except for you.
Exactly.
You better at least pay attention. So I think this is really helpful. Is there anything else that you sort of want anyone to know? Where can people find you if they want more
Yes.
information?
Absolutely. So I have a podcast and I release new episodes every Tuesday. It's called Becoming the Wealthy You. And my name is Germaine Foley, and I'm sure you're going to see that wherever you're listening to this. I would love for you to listen. If you liked what I had to say today, then you can go over there and binge. I have over 150 episodes. And then I'll also share a free training that I have. And you can go to that by going to germainefoley.com/wealth class. And I'll also give the link to Stacy so that she can link to it with this video.
Yep. Awesome. And it'll be in the downloads right under this, and I'll make sure we link to the podcast there too. This
Awesome.
has been so helpful. I know it's helped me, and I know it's going to help somebody else. So thank you so much for agreeing to do our little coffee talk. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.